Hey, what is up, fellow raiders? This is Vulcan Dan, and in today's Raid Shadow Legends video, I just want to talk about two things. First, I just want to share a tip, or maybe it's not a tip. I'm pretty sure, or at least I'm assuming that a lot of free-to-play players or low spenders are also doing the same thing to manage their energy wisely. And number two, I just want to talk about some champion rebalancing. They're actually buffs. Three champions will be buffed today. All right. So first thing is that thing that I do with my energy to make sure I use it efficiently as a free to play player is that we have we actually have a dungeon divers that will begin in 24 minutes, as you can see there, and we have a couple of tournaments right here. Champion training, 1 day left, but as you can see, we only have 1 day left, but I haven't even gotten around to doing this because I have been focusing on the Fire Knight, which will end in 2 hours 24 minutes. But I got this done. I just got enough points to 2,750 points is needed to get that epic book, so I just needed that epic book right there. And as soon as I saw the Dungeon Divers event, as soon as I saw that 24-hour countdown for the Dungeon Divers, I immediately started to save my energy refills, make sure that I don't use them until Dungeon Divers start because I want to maximize double dipping points for tournaments such as Champion Training and the Dungeon Divers. So here I actually have a few because of course we have energy from yesterday and for just a few hours ago, so I used those to get those, but I'm saving my energy when Dungeon Diver starts so that I can double dip. I need to do this crazy resource efficiency because of course as a free-to-play player I can't just simply spend money, buy some gems to refill my energy, so I really need to save. And I haven't even started with this spider tournament, which I do plan to do this Tellurian Alliance only spider tournament. I do plan to get this epic book, so I actually have just 24 hours to get this done along with the champion training, and eventually we will have this ice golem tournament right here. So just to show you, I have 115 energy saved up. When the Dungeon Divers eventually start, I will have probably around 120-ish energy, which is just right. I have an energy refill right here. Haven't used that yet. Another energy refill here, and then I'll have additional ones once I get this to max. Another 2 there. 50 here. Another full energy refill there. And from Clan Quest, or from the clan shop, I have this energy refill right there as well. So I'm planning to use those when Dungeon Divers begins. And I also have this one from the Tag Arena Bazaar right here, 300 energy, 3 hours to go before that goes off cooldown. So yes, this is just some of the things that I do to maximize my energy for a free-to-play account. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, that I'm really waiting up until that event to start before I go all in with my energy, but I really need to do that in order to make sure that I get the top reward from the Dungeon Divers, because sometimes they have this with 4,000 or 5,000 points. It really depends on the event, but yes, 4,000 to 5,000 points for Dungeon Divers if you get the top reward from your normal dungeon tournament like this one, Fire Knight or Ice Golem. Like for example, this Fire Knight tournament, 2,750 points is the top reward. The equivalent of that in the Dungeon Divers is around 2,000 points because you get around 70% of your dungeon tournament points in Dungeon Diver points. So if you get 2,750 here, that's around 2,000 Dungeon Divers points. So we can assume the same for this Ice Golem. So that's 2,000 Dungeon Divers points if I get the top reward from Ice Golem. And then this spider tournament, since it's only 2,100, so if I max this out for Dungeon Divers, this is around 1,500 points, around that mark. So that, along with the Ice Golem and champion training, farming the campaign, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get 4,000 and maybe even 5,000 points for Dungeon Divers to make sure that I get that final reward. It's usually an epic book or maybe a few shards, and those are really every single epic book, every single ancient shard is worth going crazy, using the energy at the right time. All right, so yeah, so that's just my tip, or that's really what I do. So after I make this video, when Dungeon Divers go live, I will be using all of my energy into those events, and hopefully, yeah, I'm pretty sure I will get the top reward from Dungeon Diver. So yeah, so if you're also a free-to-play player, low spender, and you really want to maximize the efficiency with your energy, you can do the same thing that I do right there. All right. Next thing that I want to talk about is we do have a few buffs, a few champion rebalancing. First is from the Undead Hordes, we have Rhodas the Lost Groom, of course, a very famous, popular champion. It's basically they made him viable for the Scarab King from Doom Tower. This one, this skill right here, let's see. This will decrease so it says here does not decrease bosses max HP, but they're going to change this one to decrease the boss's max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted. So so they're basically making him so that you can use him in the Scarab King boss without having to use a destroy set on him. So yeah, so that's a good buff for him, because of course right now we don't have a lot of decreased max enemy HP champion to be used in the Scarab King boss. You have to put on a destroy set. And one more champion, I think he's from the Lizardmen, Skull Lord. Yeah. So of course, this guy not really used a lot. His kit is not really that great. Single target provoke, strengthen on himself only. So not a very good skill. He does have an AoE attack here with decreased attack. This is on a 4-turn cooldown when booked. This will be decreased to a 4-turn cooldown and then a 3-turn cooldown when booked. So that's an okay skill. Again, as a legendary champion, I hope it could be better. At least make this an AoE hit. You can increase the cooldown to maybe 4 turns or 5 turns. I don't really care. As long as they make this an AoE provoke. Yeah. But I currently don't use this guy in my account. He's just sitting in my vault. But they will also make him viable for the Scarab King, because they will, while this passive does not work against bosses, he will decrease the max HP of bosses by 2.5%. So it's about half of what he normally does for non-bosses. So yeah, making Rhodas the Lost Groom and Skull Lord viable for the Scarab King without having to use a destroy set on either of them. And the last one is Blood Gorged, which I do have, but I also don't use him because actually his kit is pretty good. He does have a double hitter with a very good chance of placing decreased defense, because this is a 75% chance when booked. So yeah, so that's a very good decreased defense skill on his A1. His A2 is somewhat of a mini warlord kind of skill, puts one of each target skills on cooldown. If your enemy only has one skill, then that's technically a warlord skill. But if your enemy has more than one skill that has a cooldown, then this would only put one of them. But this is on a 3-turn cooldown, so it's pretty good skill right here. Of course, not as effective as a warlord, but he does hit hard. He is an attack type champion. This skill I really like. Single target, 4-turn cooldown when booked, will ignore 100% defense, and enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. So it's kind of like a Royal Huntsman skill. I do have a Royal Huntsman, so I guess that is why I don't use my Blood Gorge. His speed is currently at 90, but after the buff, which will happen probably in a few hours from when I'm filming this video, this will be increased to 98. So that's pretty good. I think that would really help him a lot. And yeah, let me just show you Royal Huntsman because He does have a very similar skill right here on his A3. Attacks one enemy, ignore defense, 100% chance. This one is on a 5-turn cooldown, does not decrease the cooldown with books. On Blood Gorge, it's on a 6-turn, can be decreased to a 4-turn cooldown, but this guy, of course, is very fast, 105 speed. This skill right here, though, his A3, Royal Huntsman's A3 is on a 5 times multiplier, so that hits really hard. Blood Gorge is on a 3.6, so it's significantly weaker than Royal Huntsman, but of course, it has that additional ability of blocking revive. But I really like this skill because in the arena, when I really want to eliminate a really tough opponent like a Duchess, this skill right here is a guaranteed one-shot kill on a Duchess. So yes, whenever I'm having a hard time in the arena, I bring a Royal Huntsman, take down that Duchess, and the rest of the fight is easy. So yeah, Blood Gorged, I'm not sure because I haven't tried him out yet, but it is a weaker skill. 5 times versus a 3.6 times multiplier. While we're talking about hard-hitting skills, we also have Alexander, the sharpshooter here. His A3 attacks one enemy. It does not have the ignore defense like Royal Huntsman and Blood Gorged, but this skill is on a 7 times multiplier, so that hits really hard. I have him, but I have not built him up yet. But whenever I get the chance, whenever I get the gear, I'll try to build him up and compare Royal Huntsman, Blood Gorge, and Alexander, and see and take a look at their A3 and see which one hits the hardest. All right, yeah. That's it for today's video. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one.